Hello, and welcome to Beyond Books, where we talk about books and beyond. I'm your host. I'm Renee. Co-host is outside today enjoying sunshine and some socialization with the neighbors. So she has the day off today. So today I'm here to talk about my 20th banned book of the year. This is called Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. And this is a young adult book. Other genres for the book are humor and coming of age. This was published in 2012. This edition that I have here is 295 pages, but it includes some, graphics and things like that. So it reads pretty quickly, I would say, despite that page count. So, yeah. It is written in the first person, and the writing style is very creative. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple of minutes. But first, let's talk about the author. Jessie Andrews is an American novelist and screenwriter. He graduated from Harvard University with a degree in history of art and architecture. Andrews is known for his unique storytelling style and has gained recognition in both literature and film. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl came out in 2012, and this debut novel won the Sybils Award for Young Adult Fiction and was adapted into a film as well. Then he has another novel, The Haters, that came out in 2016. It was inspired by his experiences with road traveling bands. And then he also has one from 2018 called Mun Mun, and it says it's another notable work that showcases his creative storytelling. So then he's also, as I say, done some screenwriting. He did do the screen adaptation for Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. It says that the film premiered at the 2015 Sundance Film Festival, winning both the Audience Award and the Grand Jury Prize. So, yeah, wow. I've never seen the film, but I might one day because that sounds good. And then he has another one called Every Day, 2018, adapted from David Leviathan's novel. This film starred Angourie Rice. And then he has another film, Luca, from 2021. It says he co-wrote the screenplay for this Pixar animated film. And then there's one coming up in 2026. It's also a Pixar project, and it's called Hoppers. So, quite an accomplished author and screenwriter. So, what is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl about? Well, here I'm going to have just a couple of little slight spoilers. But in general, I don't really think that it will be anything that will affect your enjoyment of the story, should you decide to pick it up. Now, this is told from the perspective of Greg Gaines. He is a 17-year-old who has an interesting philosophy about high school and making friends. He has this kind of idea of being friends with all of the groups at the school. The goth kids, the jocks, the smart kids, the church kids, etc. But not getting too close to any group or letting the other groups know that he's friends with the other groups. So, yeah, he kind of likes to keep things all sectioned off, but basically it leaves him, being a loner and not really having a close relationship with, a group of friends. He's friendly, but, not really deep friends with anyone at school, except for one person, and that's Earl. Earl and Greg have been friends since they were in kindergarten. And Earl is an African-American boy. He lives in a different neighborhood than Greg, and he's basically unsupervised at home. You might as well say no parental supervision, which means that, he plays all the video games he wants all the time. The narrator does go back to tell the story of how he and Earl met and, some of their key events that have happened throughout their childhood, now into young adulthood friendship. So besides video games, Earl and Greg also have an interest in making films. They begin to act out classic movies and they record themselves doing this. And that's something that they do for a period of years and just kind of get a kick out of. So the only other person who gets to see much of their work is another friend by the name of Rachel. Rachel is mainly a friend of Greg, and she is too from his childhood years. Rachel thinks that Greg is hilarious. She always laughs at his jokes. And Greg finds out from his mom that Rachel has cancer as, they get older into these teenage years. And to cheer her up, he begins to show her the movie remakes that he and Earl have done throughout the years. So as Rachel's disease progresses, there's less and less that can be done medically for her. And it becomes evident that, she won't survive. So Earl and Greg decide to make a film for Rachel herself, just kind of as a gift for her. Things, kind of get out of hand with the two mothers being involved. That's Rachel's mom and Greg's mom. And the film ends up being shown at an assembly in the high school auditorium. Now, this is somewhat horrifying to Greg, who would rather, keep to himself. But, forcing him out of his comfort zone is also a turning point for him that kind of finally gets him to listen to the valuable lessons that, really people like Earl and Rachel have, been trying to show him all along. So that's the basic gist of the story. So let's talk about now why it's banned. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl has been banned for being considered sexually explicit and containing profanity. Critics argue that the book's crude humor and language reflect teenage culture, while supporters believe it addresses important themes of mortality and friendship. So, as far as sexually explicit information, it says the book has been challenged for containing sexually explicit content, including crude humor and sexual references. It has profanity, as I said. It features frequent use of vulgar language, which has led to objections from parents and school officials. So it says here that in various school districts also, including those in Iowa and Virginia, the book was removed from libraries due to compliance with laws targeting sexually explicit material. And then there have also been public challenges where parents and advocacy groups have raised concerns about the book's appropriateness for students, leading to petitions and formal challenges in multiple districts. So as far as the censorship is concerned, it says the book was consistently ranked among the most banned and challenged books in the United States, reflecting ongoing debates about its suitability for school libraries. And indeed, it is in the top 10 for 2024 on the ALA website. I believe it was tied for number 6. Despite its challenges, many argue that the book addresses important themes relevant to teenagers, such as friendship, mortality, and the struggles of adolescence. So here we are again with a situation where we have a book that has important themes and messages for teenagers, and then it ends up getting banned due to language. And in this case, it is actually only language, not actual sexual scenes. Now, I know for some people that may be enough, not saying that it isn't. Everybody has their own preference as far as that's concerned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a link in the description to two things that actually may be helpful in putting this in some perspective. The first is a link to a site called commonsensemedia.org. And this is a specific page, I'll link you to the specific page, I should say, that discusses this book, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Now, I've referenced this site previously in my videos. I think it's excellent, actually. It contains reviews, both positive and negative, from young readers and parents alike, giving their views and their opinions on this book with specific regard to the sexual language bans and, concerns about the content. Now, the second link that I'm going to give you is a link to a video by a comedian. His name is Stephen Hofstetter. And what I'm linking you to, though, is a mostly serious bit that he does when he addressed the American Association of School Libraries. It's only about 7.5 minutes long, and I think he really nails it when it comes to book banning. Who does it and why? He focuses on that. And it's the name of the talk itself is called They Always Come for the Books. And it explains book bans way better than I can for such a succinct little speech. So I hope you'll give it a look. And then lastly, let's talk about what I thought about the book. Well, I did love the humor that's in it. I love the creative style of the writing in the book. It's partially written like a film script, which is interesting. I think it just gives a good perspective on it. And I enjoyed, the story itself as well. I thought it was kind of just the right amount of emotional, and it was inspiring to me without, really being preachy or anything like that. The characters were very authentic to me, and I found myself really, rooting for all of them, really. This book has a 3.5 on Goodreads and a 4.0 on Amazon. And I'd give it a 4 to a 4.5. I think if you liked Perks of Being a Wallflower, Looking for Alaska, or The Fault in Our Stars, I think you'd definitely enjoy this book as well. So that's Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, banned book number 20. Now I do have 2 additional banned books here that I have just finished. One is This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson, and the other is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. So there will be more banned books discussions very soon. So in the meantime, take care. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you very much for watching.